Howdy, and thanks for joining me in this talk. This is my herb garden, my flower garden right in front of my house, so everything is starting to wake up. Finally, I bought some plants today as well to, some more plants to join the crew. So, this is going to be an interesting talk. I'm sure a lot of people are just going to shut it off once they hear what it's about. But this one's about natural science and simulation theory. So, at the end of my last video, I spoke about how I've been a scientist my whole life, and that my grand experiment has been on myself. I have used this avatar to carve out my own path to truth and freedom in this realm. I never received a scientific certification or a piece of paper from an authority verifying I was a scientist. I've always had this thought, if another man was able to do a scientific experiment, then why can't I do the same experiment? Why would I ever need anybody else's approval to test out things in this reality? Science is simple and repeatable. You always get the same results when running the same experiment. Science and the pursuit of what is real is your basic right in this realm. Only stupid, lazy people discard their ability to discover what is real or true and follow somebody else. When people throw out phrases like trust the science, you're being lied to. The whole point of science is that you don't have to trust it. You can simply experiment and come to truth independently using science. You never trust science or scientists. You do science. You have to act in order to come to truth in this realm. You can't just sit around and listen to what they tell you. Man. So you never trust science or scientists. You do science, and then you'll know if it's true or not. You don't have to trust anybody here or anything. You could come to truth in a lot of different ways here if you care about it. I've talked about the religion of scientism, faith-based science or belief-based science. It is simply a perversion of science, where an idea that is non-scientific is accepted by the masses without question. Like an unproven theory. Like all those theories they teach you as a child. Guess what? They're all still theories. They're not laws. They have not been proven. Even though teachers regurgitate them to children, the children regurgitate the theories back, and everybody tells each other the germ theory, the theory of gravity. Everybody talks about all these theories, and kind of assumes they're true, but they're still theories. So, just a lot of talk in this age, not a lot of action or investigation. Studies are faked, and the data is manipulated to tell the story they want to tell the public. You know that you are a believer of scientism when you start talking about models and theories that have no observable reality in this realm. Models and theories have come to replace the superstitions of old. Instead of looking for signs from God, they look for signs from their scientific authority on how to act. As time goes on, another fake theory is presented to the public. Usually the false theory comes with some empty promise of safety, security, and progress. The progress of the old safe and effective. In this video, I want to touch on some scientific discoveries of my own. These discoveries fly in the face of what we were taught as children. In fact, these theories, or false realities, are still taught to children this day. These false realities were created to subdue the child's spirit and make them feel meaningless. Make them feel meaningless, small, and incapable of sense-making, or making their own sense of this reality. Evolution, Big Bang, and fake space theories were all created to make this realm and your life seem random and meaningless. Basically just casting spells to get you to feel like a lesser thing than what you actually are. You know, an infinite spirit with infinite possibilities. So they cast all these theory spells on you as a child to try and trick you out of what's real. Now I'm going to talk about some controversial topics, you know, like always. The level Earth, fake space, and simulation theory. I bought a Nikon P1000 zoom camera to do my own experiments to prove or disprove what I have been told about this reality. I have no bias in the matter except for truth and freedom of information. I'm always going to be biased towards the truth and freedom. You kind of have to be if you care about anything, I think. If the current spinning ball cosmology is real, I'm fine with it. You know, I just have to verify it's real, like everything else I have been told as a child. If you check out my first YouTube video, Can You See Beyond the Horizon Line? I am able to see a boat beyond the horizon line with my zoom camera, while I could not see the boat with my naked eye. So I feel like my first try was a success in my opinion. You know, it's clear evidence if you have eyes to see. Next, I moved on to taking moon videos. Really just for the fun of it and the curiosity, of course, like zooming into the moon and just seeing what's going to happen. I mean, it's fun. You never know what you're going to see up in the sky. Then one night, I zoomed into Jupiter, and I was taken by surprise. I was viewing Jupiter out of focus, and I still cannot explain what I saw. I have multiple videos of this phenomenon on my channel. I think I have like a video called Jupiter Out of Focus Phenomenon. My best guess is that my camera captured the etheric light around the holographic image of Jupiter. But check out the video. You try to make sense of it. I don't know really what was happening. I can do this experiment over and over again. Like, I could come out and do this out of focus Jupiter. You can do it with any star in the sky. So I can do this experiment over and over again, but it's still a mystery to me what's happening. Like a lot of experience I've had in my life, when I have a deep question or deep pondering about something, somehow, some way, I get another clue to set me in the right direction to answer the question. I think it's because I'm simply open to the truth, and I don't think I have everything figured out. I just think I'm maybe humble. I think there's something about being open, humble, and courageous. You got to have courage to go against what everybody is telling you. And I think courage and bravery are just lacking in this age. I don't really find it that courageous to ask questions, but I've come to find out it actually is a courageous act. It seems like everybody's too afraid to question this reality. I have no idea why. I have no idea why. While I was still mystified by what I saw Jupiter do in the sky, this channel came into my YouTube feed. The channel is called Vibes of Cosmos. At the time, the channel had 88.8 thousand subscribers, which I used to be a 777 guy, but lately all I see are 8s and 44s for some reason. So I pay attention when I see 888, because, I mean, you got to think 8, it's a symbol of eternity. I don't know, I just bought these flowers, and guess what the total came out to be? 44, 40. I don't know, I did not plan it. It's just I have all these crazy synchronicities with 44s and 8s. And I really just think that's like a synchronicity that's just telling you pay attention. It's, you know. So basically, this Vibes of Cosmos channel shows you an entirely different cosmology based off observable evidence. I'll post a link to the channel. I suggest watching one of the Vibes of Cosmos documentaries. If you're thirsty for truth, this channel will blow your mind. Now let's talk about the level Earth. I call it level Earth because obviously it's not flat. We have valleys, mountains, and all sorts of varying landscapes. Like you can see behind me, there's a rolling hill going up. There's a hill going down if you turn the camera around. So it's obviously not flat. Now, lakes and oceans are always flat. Water is always flat, obviously. It's called sea level for a reason. I've probably lost most people at this point, right? Like, people get pissed off when you start saying this stuff, questioning their reality, you know. But hey, the truth is a bitter pill to swallow. I accept that I have been lied to and misled by almost every false authority in my life. I admit I was fooled as a child, and now I know the greatest mistake I ever made in my life was blindly trusting somebody else's word without testing it out fully. So if you're still with me, strap yourself in. These discoveries have changed my entire perspective about life and this realm we inhabit. Level Earth. Like I said in the beginning of this video, you can do your own scientific experiments to verify what is real in this reality. It's all I've done to verify what is real. I mean, it's nothing special, nothing extra. It's pretty basic. I want to bring up a few simple points, but if you're curious for yourself, I'll put some links below for further investigation. The movie Level is probably the best to expose fake space and spinning ball nonsense. So that's the movie Level. It's been out for a while. It's pretty good. So I've just got like 3, quick points I want to hit about the level Earth. I don't want to like really, I mean, there's just unlimited evidence, but there's some pretty obvious stuff that you experience every day that should kind of tell you we're not on some spinning ball that's going 1,000 miles an hour through space. So the first proof to me is the Earth is motionless. You know, I'm sitting here motionless right now. My feet are solid on the ground. This is verified every day by firsthand experience. When I walk or I drive in my car, that's when I'm moving. Not the ground underneath me spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. I can't wrap my head around that idea. It's not observable. The Earth is not spinning at 1,000 miles underneath me. I go out at night and I watch the moon and the stars move above me. I constantly have to move my camera to follow the moon and the stars as they pass by above me. So like I'm still motionless, and I literally have to turn my camera to follow the moon and everything as it's moving. So you have to be pretty stupid to think the Earth is spinning or moving at all. The spinning ball Earth is non-observable, non-scientific, and just plain stupid. You really think people are upside down in Australia as we spin at 1,000 miles an hour right now? I mean, I'd really love to see that video from the International Space Station zooming into Australia and seeing all the upside down people. I mean, I'd shut up at that point. I would love if you'd prove that stuff to me somehow, but they don't. They just make CGI photos of the Earth. But like I said in my last video, you are free to be dumb. You don't have to ask these questions. You can go along with the herd. Stay in the darkness. And I'm going to put up like a meme that kind of shows you how ridiculous it is to think you're on some spinning ball nonsense. Now the next point, water is always level. I think we've all experienced, pouring a glass of water in a cup and the water fills the cup and then the top is always level. Lakes, pools, you take a bath, the water always levels out. At what point does water begin to bend? That's the thing. Water will always seek to level out or fill whatever container it was put in. At the surface of all containers of water, the water is flat or level. We use a level in construction to build level houses. So we rely on water to make sure we are on a level surface. Curving water is another claim that cannot be observed in this reality. And then my final point about the level Earth is the law of perspective. So if you're an artist, or you took an art class, you should be familiar with this law. The law of perspective basically states that you have limited vision and cannot see beyond the horizon line or the vanishing point. It's also called one-point perspective. One-point perspective is how things appear smaller as they get further away. Meeting towards a vanishing point on the horizon line. So as things get further away towards the horizon line, towards the vanishing point, they get smaller. That's it. It's just your eyes have a limit, so everything has to get smaller and disappear. Like, you really think that you can see thousands and thousands of miles? And that it's supposed to work that way? Like you're not in some sort of limited situation here, how your eyes work? Simply put, this is why you see the sun setting at night and rising in the daytime. It's how your eyes work. The sun, moon, and stars are always above us. They're either moving closer to your perspective, which means they're right above you. So like at noontime, when the sun is the hottest and it's right above you, that's when it's the closest to you, because that's how your perspective works. Then the further away, or the closer to the horizon line, the sun, the moon, the stars get, they go down, because they're getting out of your vision. You're going towards the vanishing point. I like the example of a straight street and lamp posts. You'll notice that the closest lamp post, like if you're standing at a street and the street is level, you've got all these lamp posts. You'll notice that the lamp post closest to you is going to be the tallest. And then as it goes further, each lamp post is going to get smaller. But you could walk to the next lamp post and it will be as high as the one you were just at. It's not that the lamp posts are shrinking. It's how your eyes work. We have two eyes. We have like a wider range with our eyes. I mean, I just find it kind of criminal that they don't teach this to children and they use the way that your eyes work to try and convince you of some fake space spinning ball nonsense. should really piss you off. You know? You can also observe this in long hallways. You know, like if you're in a big hotel, and you're in the hallway, it's like the closest doorway will be tall, and then everything gets smaller further down the hallway. So I'll throw in some pictures of this kind of stuff. I mean, we've all experienced this stuff. It's not that the hallway is setting, because you could always walk to the end of the hallway and turn the other way, and then the reverse happens, you know? Now on to Fake Space and Beyond. I always enjoy the lyrics of the song Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Dream of Californication. They got this lyric in there. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. So supposedly Stanley Kubrick filmed the fake moon landing, and he placed a lot of clues in his future movies about it. Until he made Eyes Wide Shut, you should check that one out, where he disclosed too much. They had to cut like 30 minutes out of the movie, and he was killed for it, as the story goes. NASA has been caught over and over again using green screen, tinsel wire, and CGI trickery to make their claims. Just look up NASA space bubbles. It's also in that Level movie, if you watch it. They fake International Space Station footage underwater on their spacewalks. So you could, like, they're like acting like they're working on the space station, and a bunch of bubbles like pop up out of their suit. I mean, it's just like, what do you really think? Do you think it's easier to build some craft and fly to some outer space thing, or would it be easier just to fake everything through technology? And then, oh my gosh, and I'm going to throw this clip in there because, man, so supposedly we went to the moon in 1969, and then we lost the technology on how to do it, according to a NASA spokesperson, Don Pettit.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
He literally said we like lost the technology, and it's rough. It's hard to build it back. You'd think if you landed on a planet, you would save that technology and improve upon it, or you wouldn't just like destroy it, unless you were trying to cover something up. That's usually when things are destroyed, right? There's no doubt in my mind that the moon is a luminary. It's not a solid object. Moonlight is the negative energy source, or cold, while the sunlight is our positive energy source, or heat. They're both exactly the same size. How do you think that the eclipse just worked? You know, how does what they tell you about the eclipse and the moon supposedly eclipsed something millions of light years away? It's just, I don't know. It's pretty stupid what they tell people. And then the U.S. military has also proven space is fake, you know, with some of their well-known operations. You probably heard of Operation Paperclip. You know, this is more of a, you should realize that NASA is filled with a bunch of Nazis from Operation Paperclip. Operation Fishbowl proves that we live in an enclosed system, a dome that is impenetrable. And we have a thermosphere under the ionosphere that melts anything physical trying to leave this realm. They call it the Van Allen belt, you know, and radiation, yada yada. But it's basically a fire belt keeping all the shenanigans that go on in this realm from escaping upwards. I mean, if you've been paying attention to what goes on in this realm, you would figure this is an enclosed system, and you wouldn't want a lot of this psycho crazy stuff seeping out into other realms, possibly, that aren't corrupted like this one. So it's so what do you think we have rainbows? Why are rainbows shaped that way? Seems like only light or spirit can pass through the thermosphere. This is why when they launch fake space rockets, they go hyperbolic or sideways when they launch them. Everybody stands around at Cape Canaveral and they watch the rocket go off, and it always goes sideways when you'd figure like it should just go straight. Well, if they went straight, everybody would witness the rocket hitting the thermosphere and exploding. And they've gotten that on film. There are rockets hitting the thermosphere, exploding. This Operation Fishbowl is about them shooting nukes up into the atmosphere, trying to blow our way out of the dome. It's like they proved that it's impenetrable with Operation Fishbowl, but they love to tell you about fake space, and we're on Mars right now, taking pictures, and we're gonna, Elon Muskrat and Jeff Bezos, they're gonna take us to space, right? They're not part of intelligence agencies that are just harvesting people's energy through trickery. And then there's Operation High Jump. So this proves there's other continents in the realm that the government keeps hidden from the public. Look into Admiral Byrd and all the expeditions he took. He literally was saying, like, we went to Antarctica up north and we found green land and all it is as big as the United States. And he's on film in like the 40s talking about all this. How they found extra continents. And now you're taught that the Arctic is all frozen and there's there's nothing there, and we have a treaty to where people are not allowed to explore. There's a government treaty keeping you from exploring the center of the earth and whatever is going on there. It's not frozen. And the ancients talked about a magnetic mountain called Mount Meru. This is why your compass always points north. There is a center to the realm, and it's off limits to the public. Alright, so, my camera died. I was basically talking about the moon map, and, check out the moon map by Vibes of Cosmos. And he shows you how like the darker areas on the moon can be mapped to continents, and then there's all sorts of hidden continents that they're keeping from us. So I was talking about military operations. So there's this CIA operation. It's called Operation Gateway, and here's a little part from it. The consciousness matrix. The universe is comprised of interacting energy fields, some at rest and some in motion. It in and of itself is one gigantic hologram of unbelievable complexity. I know, I got a chipmunk hole like right behind me. You probably see this chipmunk running in and out, doing his thing. So, Operation Gateway, check that document out. It talks about how your body works, how the energy fields are working here. It's just a whole different biology on how things work. A really interesting paper I ran into like 6 months ago. And so this brings me to simulation theory. This is where science and spirituality meet. How are we experiencing this reality in the first place? I don't think we'll ever be able to answer that one. So it's just always limitations of science here. Um, how are we experiencing all this in the first place? It's like the chicken and the egg. What was first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. I'd assume it was the chicken because the chicken had to be created, and then the chicken created the egg. So that's kind of what I think of. What came first, consciousness or material existence? It seems like consciousness had to create the material existence to begin with. But how is it working? Like, what are the details around all that? Have our spirits been put under a deep hypnosis to create this physical reality? Are we God, experiencing itself through infinite dualities here? Are we players in a massive multiplayer online video game called Earth? We're just gamers playing games right now here. And then if that was the reality, I figure there's got to be NPCs, there's got to be all these bosses and dungeons and all this like programmed stuff to screw with us and keep us like, whoa, the whole time during the video game. It's kind of my favorite way to view this reality is it's a big video game and you're a player in it, creating your character, leveling up, when you want, or leveling down, doing whatever. Or is it like the Matrix movie where we're literally jacked into the simulation using high technology, like our real bodies are off somewhere else and we're just jacked into this false simulation right now? These are the current questions I have, but I have no doubt in my mind that the physical reality here is illusory. This physical reality is never constant. It's always changing based off our conscious interactions with it. Quantum mechanics, the hermetic principle of vibration, and the Powers of 10 video prove this reality. So I'll put that Powers of 10 video. It's an interesting one. When you zoom into anything as far as you can, everything is vibrating. Doesn't matter if it's a table, a book, your hand, this rock. If you were to zoom in to this rock as far as you could, it would almost look like static on a television. When we used to change channels when we had antennas, and then, sometimes you'd go where there's no signal and it's all just like gray and black dots. Well, that's this reality when you zoom into anything. It's always moving and fluctuating, and they call it neutrons and protons, electrons and atoms, and I don't like to label things because that means like you think you know something you don't. I think this place is like an eternal mystery, and it's more of just taking things on how they are instead of trying to like think that you're smart enough to figure everything out here. It's better to be humble and just accept the unknowns about this realm and not be afraid of that. I don't know. I'm not afraid of the unknown. I feel like we're all living in the unknown, whether you want to admit it or not. So you might as well embrace it and have some fun with it. So when you zoom into stuff, so to be blunt about it, we're experiencing unexplainable miracles around us all day, every day. And to try and reduce our experience down to words is just plain foolish. You know the saying, silence is golden. The infinite cannot be defined. Try to imagine what the words eternity and infinity really mean. We have these words, infinity, trying to describe something that can't be described. At this point in my life, I believe we are living in a holographic projected reality. And, this is just my best guess based off all of the evidence I've gathered, all the avenues I've went down. It'll change in a year or two maybe when I discover more things. It's just I'm open to the truth. I don't think I have all the answers right now, but I'm going to tell you what I'm about to tell you is closer to reality than what you're taught as a child. I can guarantee that. So this reality is created by a combination of electromagnetism, energy, light, crystals, and water. Your pineal gland, or your third eye, as they say, open up your third eye. Your third eye is a crystal that holds your inner light, your consciousness. This crystal within projects light outward, so you're able to interpret the wave patterns of this reality to create forms. Your heart is not a pump. It is a chestahedron. Your heart is seven-sided with 12 angles. It lies in the chest at an angle of 35 degrees. Your heart creates a vortex that allows you to feel emotions and other people around you. Water is conscious and aware. This is how it creates reflections. It's how water is able to clean the body of toxins. It has to get into your body and correct things in this poisonous age, with this environment we're in. Water is amazing. There's this, I call her the water lady. Her name is like something Veda. But she literally does these water experiments where she will take like a petri dish of water, put a image on it or put an object on it, and then she'll put it in her freezer, take it out, and what do you know, the water basically copies the image. The frozen, like she'll put a picture of somebody, and then the water basically mimics it after she freezes it. And she makes beautiful artwork with her discoveries. But I mean, it just shows you like water is consciousness. It is aware. It's why it's always moving and flowing, and it's not at all what you've been taught. It's H2O. We add this plus that and it equals water. It's like, no, it's far more magnificent and magical than we could ever reduce it down to being. Emotion. Your emotions are energy in motion. We feel all these emotions inside of us, and that's our own energy moving, depending on our emotional state every day. You have the ability to change your emotional state at will. This realm is an illusion of the mind. I keep going back to that point because I think that's something you really have to figure out for yourself. Nobody can really prove to you this is a realm of the mind. You kind of have to do the inner work to come to these discoveries yourself. It's not really a crowd thing, to realize the spiritual nature of this place and yourself. It's a very individual pursuit. You'd wish it wasn't this way. You'd wish that we could be open and honest about everything here. That's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to spread honesty and truth and freedom. I feel like that's probably the only reason I'm here. Because otherwise, I don't really fit in, except going against everything I see. It's a silly life I lead. If you're a health nut like me, you'll recognize your energy level is tied directly to proper nutrition, sunlight, and spiritual status. The healthier you are, the higher resolution experience you will have day in and day out. It's kind of like all the parts of a high-speed gaming computer functioning at full capacity versus playing some old Nintendo game. These bodies or bodies, avatars we inhabit, are technologies or coded programs in a matrix of light and energy. Time is an illusion. Physical reality is an illusion. Space is even an illusion. So I just figured this is all some high technology, and we're like we're in a projector experiencing a holographic reality here. It's amazing. I've come to these conclusions by having a balance between the infinity and the finite. I have 1 foot in this realm and 1 foot in the spirit. I allow my spirit to guide me, while my left brain takes all the notes, keeps this reality straight. But in the end, my right brain or my spirit is the master, and my left brain or logic is the servant. I don't allow my finite left brain to take over my infinite spirit. I like to say I was never born and will never die. I'm just having endless adventures traveling through time and space. How foolish it would be for me to lose my true nature in this temporary illusion. So I probably was pretty far out talk for most people, but I'll tell you, it's kind of where I'm at. I'm always far out on the frontiers, on my own path, just letting it fly, open to whatever's around the corner, I just had to bring all this stuff up because I feel like it's worth saying, and it's not talked about enough. It's mainly just ridiculed and made fun of. Like when I first heard of the flat earth, I didn't even look into it. It was becoming popular in 2015. I just was like, that's the silliest thing I ever heard. I'm not going to look into it. That's stupid, right? And then, a couple of years ago, it was like the winter of 2021. I just remember, it's like, I got some time, I'm sitting here and it's all snowy. Let's go into conspiracy land and like take a deep investigation into this thing. I'm going to disprove it because I know it's fake. And what do you know? Every single thing I tried to prove about the globe Earth, and the proof is there that this is a level plane. I'm just telling you, there's no denying it if you do the scientific research. I got a story about like a month ago. I hopped on Twitch. It's like a streaming platform. People play video games and talk live. And this guy, Veritas, it's funny, his name, Veritas, means truth. And he was talking about flat Earth. And so I was like, I popped on his channel, and come to find out he's like one of those debunkers, right? He's trying to prove how stupid it is and how these people are wrong and they're just brain damaged, and very hateful stuff they say about, people with a different perspective. But I got on there, I was typing, like, the Earth is motionless. I started saying some of my proofs, and I told him to look at my video, and so we got into a little debate. But I realized he didn't want to debate. He had his group of people. He had his mind made up. He just wanted to ridicule me. So the whole time, like, I'm just being very nice. Just, hey, this is the way I see it. It's okay that we disagree. I'm fine with it. Like, I'm used to it at this point. But he kept being an asshole and making up all this stuff about me that just isn't true. Saying that I don't do science, I don't investigate or think for myself. And it's like, if anybody knows me, I think for myself on everything, So there's a social science that happens here as well. Like, you can tell when somebody's wrong and they're really afraid of somebody questioning their reality. You know, they attack you, they ridicule you. They're not open and honest about what goes on. They don't want to hear the truth. They want to gang up, be right. And I just figure they must be living in fear or something. But it was just kind of eye-opening, because by the end of it, it was like, man, this guy, he just wants to ridicule me and use me possibly to make money. You know, whenever you look up the flat earth stuff, I call it level earth, there's all these debunkers with millions and millions of views. There's this one guy, it's the dumbest stuff I've ever seen. He literally said, like Dave, the scientist or whatever, he said in his videos, he's like, I'm not even gonna use science to disprove the flat earth. And it just floors me. He gets millions of views. They all sit around and ridicule people doing science, and he literally says he's not even going to use science to prove his point. I mean, it should tell you everything. It's all social engineering and how the way people feel about something, and how, you know, they can't admit they were wrong or lied to. They'd rather persecute people trying to tell the truth. And that's just the age we're living in. Look at good old Julian Assange. Yeah, they're working on the road out here today. It's getting kind of loud. Sun's finally poking out. Thanks for joining me. I love you all. I know this was a wild conversation. I hope you had fun with it.